How's it going, guys? I'm KTO, and today we're talking about a player who definitely should go number one. The Browns would be foolish not to take him at the number one spot. And without further ado, let's go straight to the video.
Bleacher Report writer Joe Robbins said it best, quote, "With the first pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns will either select Texas A&M edge rusher Myles Garrett or make the biggest mistake in franchise history." Now, that might be a bit exaggerated, but it's not that far off. Myles Garrett is a generational talent. He once had a high school game where he recorded 8.5 sacks, and his amazing combine gave us a mere glimpse of what the man is capable of. Let's go ahead and look at what he did at the combine. Standing at 6'4", 272, that puts him at a size roughly 5 pounds heavier than Jadeveon Clowney and 25 pounds heavier than Khalil Mack. Keep that in mind while we look at his measurables. A 41-inch vertical. To put that into perspective, that's 3.5 inches higher than Clowney, 2.5 inches higher than OBJ, and just 2 inches shorter than Vince Carter in his prime. Then, he had 33 reps in the bench, only 1 rep behind JJ Watt, and 12 more than Clowney. Then in the broad jump, he jumped 6 inches further than OBJ. And lastly, his 4.64 40 was slightly faster than Khalil Mack, and about 1/10 of a second slower than Clowney. And other than the combine, here's a story to help highlight Garrett's incredible physical traits. During his first summer at Texas A&M, during his very first formal lifting session with the team, him and other freshmen witnessed left tackle Jermaine Ifedi, who was considered the program's strongest player, power cleaned his 1-rep max of 352 pounds just to show all the freshmen what this program was all about. And 18-year-old Garrett walked over there and hit the weight 3 times, which left his teammates in utter disarray. So, what does all this tell us? That Myles Garrett is the total package physically. He clearly has the ability to be explosive and powerful off the line of scrimmage, and his athleticism plays a major role on why he's a generational talent. But talent doesn't tell the whole story, or else guys like Jadeveon Clowney would be in the Pro Bowl every single season. Last year, there was another freak of nature. Quite a bit bigger than Garrett at 294, Robert Nkemdiche terrorized teams while in college, and had some pretty crazy measurables to go along with that. But he was barely picked in the first round at pick number 29, and that was considered risky because of playing inconsistent and off-the-field issues. In his first season, he butted heads with Bruce Arians, and hardly did anything. Now, I'm not comparing these two as far as ability. I'm just showing an example of a transcendent talent that hasn't translated to the NFL for a variety of reasons. But now, I'm going to explain to you why Myles Garrett is a no-brainer at number 1, and will wreak havoc for years to come. First of all, he has experience against elite level talent. La'el Collins, Sean Coleman, Cam Robinson, and Laramie Tunsil. Cam Robinson is most likely this year's best offensive line prospect, and Laramie Tunsil was last year's. Tunsil also had a great year in Miami, helping them reach the playoffs. And La'el Collins, although placed on IR this last year, is a member of that ruthless Dallas Cowboys offensive line. So going back to Myles Garrett, the first thing that jumps out is his first step. A ridiculously quick burst off the snap that goes unmatched. Much like Khalil Mack, he can line up anywhere along the line of scrimmage. In a 3-point or standing, he can still react remarkably quick. And the plus side is he outweighs Mack by 20 pounds. When an opponent tries to use a pulling guard or tight end, he's in the backfield so quick, the offensive player has no chance to get a hand on him. And wherever he's lined up, he has an automatic advantage with his speed. His quickness and bull rush versus guards is so similar to Khalil Mack to me, and that versatility on the defensive line is big time. And one last thing to notice is his incredible agility and body control. Watch how he's able to keep his body so low to the ground and is still able to keep his balance. Just an incredible athlete. Also, quick note, don't worry about stats for Garrett. His stats are good, but may not pop out. But numbers never really tell the whole story anyway. When a team has to play against a guy like this, their whole game plan will be based around him. They will run away from him, quick passes to the opposite side, they will often double and even triple team him. And lighting up linemen and forcing a quarterback to make a quick and often fatal decision doesn't always show up in the stats either. His most accurate comparison has to be Julius Peppers, a big dude who's fast with a remarkably quick first step that has translated to over 140 sacks over the course of his career. If you know football, you know just how good Julius Peppers has been. Peppers made an immediate impact his first season as a pro, taking home Rookie of the Year. And over 10 years later, his speed and athleticism is still being used in a variety of ways, and he's still a key player. Garrett has all the tools necessary to follow in a similar path. Now, Myles Garrett should be the number 1 pick regardless, but especially because it's Cleveland. The Browns have already made the commitment financially to roaming linebacker Jamie Collins, who likes to line up all over as a linebacker and free roam in a sense. He's not really a system guy who sticks to playing the same position, and that's part of the reason why the Patriots traded him to Cleveland. Cleveland is clearly okay with this, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and Garrett should be used in the same sense. Sometimes, these type of guys don't reach their potential due to improper use of their ability. But look at someone like Khalil Mack. After a year of playing around with where they lined him up and how they schemed him, he really started to shine and began to dominate. And I think Garrett will be much of the same. It'll take time to figure out how best to use him. But as his technique grows, and its relationship with the members of this defense, we will start to see how scary this man can be. And the next thing I want to talk about is his attitude. Sometimes it's hard to tell if a guy really has what it takes on an attitude level because everyone usually says the right things come draft time anyway. But I'm going to try and prove it with a few stories. First off, the young man is mature, and unlike the previous megastar at A&M, you won't find Garrett partying or living the life you'd expect from the big man on campus. In his words, drinking and smoking are, quote, unnecessary to him, especially with the opportunity he's been given. And unlike most of this generation, Garrett refuses to use any social media because, quote, I don't need to let people's opinions and other things stick with me when I have other things I can do with my time, getting better as a person, a football player, and a leader. With clear maturity beyond his years, a lot of it can be accredited to his family's history, and more specifically, his older brother. And by the way, there is no one Myles Garrett looks up to more than him, a former NBA first-round pick, and at one point showed all the potential in the world, but with off-the-court troubles, including an addiction to marijuana, Sean ended up throwing his career away. And Myles Garrett witnessed all of this as a teenager. He saw just how much it devastated his family, and even his sister said in an interview, quote, Myles never wants to let my mom down. Honestly, the best thing Sean could have ever done for Myles was to F up like he did. Now Cleveland, listen to me. Don't overthink this. Don't worry about all the buzz about picking a quarterback. This is the best option, a generational talent. Someone who won't be a distraction or have off-the-field issues, and will be a building block for this franchise for years to come. Pick Myles Garrett.
So thanks for checking out this video. I'd like to apologize for the lack of videos. I've been pretty sick for the last 2 weeks and I haven't been able to record due to not having my voice. But I actually have a few videos ready to go, so it should be more consistent from now on. So have a good one, and I'll catch you in my next video.
Yeah.